GarageBand, GarageBand Weekly, GarageBand, GarageBand Weekly, GarageBand, GarageBand Weekly. Ooh. Need an answer to your question? John, you'll have a suggestion. He's a fountain of all knowledge. I think he might have gone to GarageBand College. What he doesn't know, we'll try and find out. So join the chat and give him a shout. Hey, John. Hey, John. GarageBand Weekly.
Hello there. Welcome into GarageBand Weekly or GarageBand Weekly. I don't care how you pronounce it as long as you use it. Actually, I don't care if you use it because if you use Logic Pro or if you use anything else, you're free to hang out. It's cool. We talk about GarageBand stuff. We talk about GarageBand related stuff. We talk about music creation. We talk about Apple. We talk about all those things. It's called GarageBand Weekly because that's kind of what we started with, but it's grown and changed over time, which is all good. Today, we're talking about the iPadOS 26. The new development beta 2 was released a week ago. I've now been using the new iPadOS 26 for 3 weeks, and I've had some ups and I've had some downs, and we'll talk about both of those as we go through. But in fact, right now, before we dive into the news and notes, before we get to our feature topic, my GarageBand won't open, and I want to see if we can fix it here on the show on the fly. You might also be noticing that we're live to tape this week. If you want to know why that is, you need to be a member because I ranted about it on today/yesterday's YML After Party. So if you'd like to hear the behind the scenes of what's going on around here and why I can't do this show live, check out the members only After Party live stream we did yesterday. But for now, why don't we dive in here because here's the problem. See, I'm using the new development beta 2 and we'll talk about what's changed later. Spoiler alert, it's not much. And Logic Pro is opening and working fine. Let's give it a test run. Where's your audio, Logic Pro? Okay, it was working fine. Let's just do a quick audio check because that may be one of our contributing problems. I can't remember where the audio button is. Oh, I'm turning the display up there. There it is. Things are all moving around here. Okay, it's going through the Steinberg. It should be okay. Maybe we'll go back to the start and play again. Nope, nothing coming through the Steinberg. All looks okay there. This is a great start. We're live to tape, so I'm not changing any of this. Let's just switch it and switch it back, shall we? We'll come down here to this one. We'll go back to the iPad speaker, and is it going to play through here? It's not playing through anything, which makes me think it's a Logic Pro situation. We'll come back to that later. Let's, however, load up GarageBand, and we're getting this business. It's trying to load up Imagination, and it was getting towards the end, and it was failing. And it'll probably, you know what? It'll probably work here now, because, oh, look at that. Making a liar out of me. I thought I was all smart. I was going to do like a whole big thing about, oh, here's how we can troubleshoot GarageBand not opening problems. But no, it has opened. Is it playing back? It is, but now it is going through our speaker. Now that I've got this feature that allows you to change your output, I'm finding it difficult because I'm putting it on the wrong one. Let's come back here to the Steinberg. There it is. Okay, so it is working. I was about to go into this big rigmarole about how if it doesn't work, what you can do. See, is you go into your settings. And in fact, let's do it anyway. In case it never opened again, here's how to fix it. You want to go into your settings app. So you want to go here to settings, and there it is, settings app. Everything looks a little bit different here on this new version. Can't you oh, yeah. See, I haven't used the new beta 2 very much, and it's interesting. It's a choice. Let's come in here. We're going to come down to GarageBand. In fact, we can hit the G over here. There's a tip for you. Go to GarageBand, and here in your settings under apps and under GarageBand, you can come down here to reset GarageBand. And if we do that, what'll happen is if it's trying to load a project and it keeps crashing, or if it's trying to load up its first screen and it keeps crashing, you can actually reset your GarageBand there. The next time you open it, it'll reset. Now, it will do things like sometimes delete out your sound libraries and sound packs, so you have to re-download them. Isn't as big a deal as it sounds like. And please make sure, this is why it's also really important that you store your files. Oh, I'm still not used to hitting that files and opening like that. You store your files on my iPad or on my iPhone location. Don't store. Let's change that. Store your Store your files on your iCloud Drive location, not on your on my iPad or on my iPhone location, because they won't get backed up there. And if something goes horribly wrong, you need them on your iCloud Drive so that you have a backup copy. And that's why I have everything there. So do make sure everything's there and you're backed up. It won't affect your files as long as they're on your iCloud Drive. Phew, what a start to the show. Now, is Logic working? Let's just double check this. Now that I've got the audio working in GarageBand, let's see if Logic's going to work as well. If we need to do any demoing later, let's play. We're good. Yeah. So we will dive back in and check out more on the iPad a little later, because I'll let you know the latest and greatest on how I'm going with iPadOS 26. So yeah, special edition today. I'm going to say thank you to the folks who are here on the live premiere. I'm going to assume the likes of Thomas Christ or Mark Bro or Tremor Bear, maybe Al Davis Music. Are you all here? I hope so. If not, if you're catching up on the replay, thank you. Hitting the thumbs up button is not only a nice thing to do and proves that you're an amazing human, it also helps the robots tell the other robots to blah, 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 like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. I do genuinely thank you for doing all those things. Should we dive in? Let's look at some news and notes, shall we? We've got a few things. These are all linked in the description below if you want to check them out. Right. So, not iPadOS 26 related, but iOS 18.2 related. Have you ever plugged in your iPad or your iPhone and wondered how long is this going to take to charge? Well, I sure have. And Apple have obviously noticed this as well, because they've now introduced, or at least are rumored to be, it's in the release details, it's in the files, but hasn't been added yet, that iOS 18.2 has a new battery intelligence framework that apparently allows the system to calculate estimated charging completion times. While the feature is yet to be enabled, if Apple does implement it, iOS 18.2 will be able to notify users how long it will take for their iPhone to reach a specific charge level. Now, it doesn't actually state if this is going to be iPad as well, but given that the battery performance and battery technology options are fairly similar between the iPhone and the iPad, I'm hoping that we get this on iPad as well. At the moment, you got some battery options, and obviously I'm on iPadOS 26 here, but if you come in here and you type in the word battery, if you've never done this before, you go into your battery and it will tell you it's at 43% and it's charging. There's the 100% thing. It's got the usage stuff here as well. You can go into low power mode there, and this doesn't seem to have the battery life. There's one that's got battery health, isn't there? So I thought maybe it's under here, under the eye. Maybe this gives us our battery health indicator. Nope, it just tells you about lithium-ion batteries. So there you go. iPadOS 26 doesn't seem to have what we do already know that we have in iPadOS 18, which is that battery health indicator that tells you your battery is at 83% health. I checked my mum's the other day and it's down at like 80%. And it said, yeah, you should probably get this changed on your iPhone. So that could be cool. Now, look, the weird thing is, and the hard thing is, that trying to estimate how much energy is used is almost impossible. How much energy, how much time it takes. Have you ever done that thing where you're downloading something and it goes, this will be ready in 1 minute? Nope, 4 hours. No, 26 minutes. No, 7 days. Oh, and it's done. It's because there is no, and there's a great video actually, and I forget who it's by. It's the guy, you know the guy, the Windows guy, Dave, and this is his workshop, and he tells you about stuff. Yeah, I'll try and find, if I'm here on the premiere, I'll try and find the video. But if you search why download timers don't work, Windows Dave guy, you might find this guy, and he had a great video about why it's almost impossible to estimate how long it's going to take for things to happen on a computer, because there's so many variables. Like a timer won't know like how long it's going to take because it doesn't know all the background processes. Another app may just grab that battery and just take it, do some background processing tasks and drain the battery faster. Have you ever had that where you plugged in and your battery is draining faster than it can charge, and you plugged into a charger and it's like 18%, oh, 17%, oh, this is fun, 16%. And by the way, the tip with that is turn it off. Like, not turn it off, but close the screen. Make sure you've closed all apps. Turn off background processing. Go into low power mode. There's a few tips for you. Bonuses and additional tips. Did you know that Elon Musk gave a $5 billion ultimatum to Tim Cook and he refused? And look, this is an old story. It's a month old, but we didn't talk about it at the time, so I thought I would mention it because they're two people, one person I really like and one person I really dislike, and I'll let you decide whom is whom. But let's just say that when Elon wanted to get Starlink onto phones, he went to Apple and said, "You be it, and if you don't, I'm going to someone else. I'm taking my bat and ball and satellites and going home." And they said no. So Elon took his bat and ball and his satellites and he went to T-Mobile and made it as part of their network instead. So I just thought that was interesting that, and look, that was before times. So this is back in 1922. 1922. Back in 1922, Nikola Tesla probably was around back then, was he? I don't know. I don't know my history or my science that well. I just trust other people who do. I trust historians for my history, and I trust scientists for my science. By the way, new merch, the big giant mug here, available now. StudioLiveToday.com/merch. The t-shirt too, the classic originals, thanks to Fourth Wall, who I'm now using for that. So I just put that in there because, I don't know, it's kind of nice. Doesn't it feel nice when you end up on the right side of history with some things? This is cool. So this is directly from the Apple newsroom. So no speculation, no hearsay, no conjecture. So on the 30th of June, Apple released this, that they're celebrating 10 years of Apple Music with the launch of a new global hub for artists designed to foster creativity and connection. Tune into Apple Music Radio for broadcast celebration with host Zane Lowe, Ebro Darden, and special guests as they reminisce about their favourite moments from the past 10 years. So this is kind of cool. A physical space in Culver City, California. So it's a bit unclear at the moment who get to use this studio. Can you and I just roll in and say, "G'day Apple, I'd like to record some spatial audio"? It does say it's built for artists. So 15,000 square foot capacity, 2 advanced radio stations with spatial audio playback, a 4,000 square foot sound stage for live performances and multicam shoots, a dedicated spatial audio mixing room, outfitted with 9.2.4 PMC speaker for next level sound production. So that bloke that told me that I was an idiot for telling you that you can do spatial audio mixing, he can go there and mix with proper surround sound. By the way, I don't hold any grudge to that bloke, but tell you what, he ripped me a new one until he didn't. A photo and social media lab, edit room and green room to support real-time creation, private isolation booths for songwriting, podcasting and one-on-one interviews, and the A-list corridor and archive corridor showcasing images and artworks of unforgettable moments in Apple Music's present and past. And there's a little glimpse at the corridor of goodness, of all the people doing the things in the corridor related to Apple Music. So, yeah, will there be any artists that we know up there? Maybe. You never know. Maybe you could be on there one day. You could be on the wall. Yeah, global vision and local roots. So, yeah, look, it's a good thing. Anything that, after looking at what Spotify are doing at the moment, anything that Apple does that is related to humans getting into a space and creating music in a real world, that's a good thing. As always, the coughing is part of it. Yep, it's like you're live. You might be thinking, Johns, you could cut that out. You could cut out that bit where you coughed after that news story because it doesn't need to be there. And I would say, I'm a lazy, lazy man. No, I'm not that lazy, but I don't have a lot of time because I had to record this at the last minute. I wanted to do this live with you folks tomorrow. I'm going to be a little sad. I might cry. I might be crying into my Weet-Bix right now because I can't do this live. This is interesting. Now, I don't even know how to pronounce this company, and full disclosure, I haven't used them. I didn't get big into like audio isolation and stem splitting and stuff until Logic Pro started doing it because, I don't know, it was a bit niche and I didn't really realize how good it could be and how fun it was to play with. But now, Moises, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they are a company. And apparently, they have an app with 60 million users worldwide, a music creation platform, in fact, with 60 million users. And this is AI-powered music creation platform. And before you get really concerned by this, it's not that sort of, it's not like rock song that sounds like Meatloaf. enter about fairies. And it's like, I would do anything for Tinkerbell, but I won't do that. It's not that. It sounded more like Cher. Do you believe in life after Peter Pan? So in Salt Lake City, on the 1st of July. Moises, I'm going to pronounce it differently every time. I'll get it right at one point, are sponsoring NPR's Tiny Desk series. Now, you might be thinking, NPR and the Tiny Desk series is about real creators and real artists coming in and playing their music at NPR's Tiny Desk. AI app is the exact opposite of that, isn't it? Isn't that about crushing humans? Well, apparently not. And you be the judge. You tell me what you think of this. But they're saying that this is actually helping. This is a good thing, and that it is going to make sure that humans that are creating can continue to do so. And look, you know what? Things like NPR need money, and they need to be able to pay artists so that artists can play there. And if Moises are getting their cash from users who are using their platform to do stem splitting and other things, then more power to them. Now, I probably need to check this out. I took a very brief look. The Musicians app, there's you can start for free, and there's a desktop app. I'm sure there's a paid tier or some sort of in-app purchases, but it looks kind of rad. I'm not going to lie to you. There's AI audio separation. There's smart metronome and audio speed changer, which I know is something that a lot of people are looking for. There's pitch changer and AI key detection. I want this. So the one thing that I think is missing from Logic Pro's stem splitting and Logic Pro's chords and AI musicians is no chord detection. Like, how difficult would it be, especially when you're throwing MIDI tracks at it? But even audio tracks, detecting chords is something that I'm looking for in my platform. So maybe this is something I need to do. So chord detection. So there you go. This app, apparently rock stars and top creators use it. Maybe I need to try it out. Look, Jordan Rudess, he's a spokesperson for it, so it can't be that bad, right? So there you go. Let me know what you think of that, and the correlation, the joining of forces between something like the NPR Tiny Desk concert and the Moises. Just saying it differently every time. So we've got one more news item. Yeah, did you see this? If you have used an Apple device, if you've used your iPhone or your Apple TV or your Mac or your iPad or any Apple products, you've heard about the movie F1. Brad Pitt, drive car, go fast, vroom, vroom. However, Apple took it to the next level and apparently have peeved a few folks because they put an ad not on Apple TV where it makes sense, not on Apple Music where it makes less sense, but sure, fine. At least it's an entertainment app. But in the wallet, yeah, Apple jumped into your Apple wallet and put an ad for the F1 with an offer to buy tickets in your wallet with Fandango to the F1 movie. And not surprisingly, people didn't like it. People were not a fan of having what they thought was their secure wallet and opening that up and suddenly being advertised to about an Apple product. And look, is it as bad as them selling your data to data brokers and third parties and those people advertising to you in your wallet? No. So I think we need to, someone will think of the children. We don't really need to be super concerned with this. But is it a bit of a miss? Is this something that they could have avoided? Yeah, a little bit. So, yeah, they put an Apple Pay offer. The deal lets you save $10 on purchases of 2 or more F1 tickets available through Fandango when using the code ApplePay10. And look, do companies do this? Yes, but the thing is, Apple usually don't do this. I mean, look at the advertising on this webpage. I mean, 9 to 5 Mac, they got to get paid too. They do good reporting. But my goodness, best image to video AI in 2025? Yeah, you've told me that a bunch of times now. But yeah, it was interesting, the reaction and the backlash to this. Basically, people were saying, oh, Apple, I thought you were better than that. And you know what? At the risk of being labelled an Apple fan person, which I already have, so no biggie, the companies make mistakes. They misdirect things. And it would just take one middle manager to tick a box and sign off on something that some young whippersnapper marketing executive got in a sprint as part of a stand-up on their Kanban board during a Scrum huddle. And they just went, yeah, okay, we'll try that. And they did, and the backlash was big. So I have a feeling that we won't see any more ads in your Apple Wallet anytime soon. That is it. That is the news and notes. Now, we don't have any Q&A today because you're not there live, but I'm going to reach out and say to you, we're going to do a full Q&A live GarageBand Weekly coming up in a week or two's time. So if you do have questions about GarageBand, please put them in the comments down below. I will not only attempt to answer them or send you to somewhere that can help, but I will also answer them on the next big Q&A show. I did have a question this week from one user in the members only after party today about turning down your track. So they said when they have a project that has say 20, 30 tracks and they're all at full volume, they're all at zero volume, they find their overall volume is too loud. And the short answer is yes, it will be. So what you tend to need to do is if you've got all your tracks at unity gain, which is at that zero volume, you will want to start thinking about turning them down. And what do I mean by that? Let's show you a quick manual version of this. So you can see here that all of these are sitting here at this -12, and you can turn them up. And look, different mixers will have different things, but unity gain on this one is at -12. Now, if you pull this down, you're going to reduce the volume. And I've only got, 6, 7 tracks on here, so it's not a big deal. Most of them are at unity gain, and the overall volume is not too loud. As soon as you get to 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 tracks, you're going to need to start bringing these volumes down, because if they're right up there at unity gain at -12 dB, yeah, no bueno. It's not going to sound good. The other thing you can do is either just turn down the volume of the stereo out plugin or use a gain plugin, turn down the mixer, the knob, the track, or put a gain plugin on there and just reduce the gain by, say, -6 dB. And then you can leave it at the unity, but everything will be reduced down. So short answer is yes, you do need to do that. And why do you need to do that? Well, if you're going to master that track, you need to have some headroom. So it needs to be not right up. Here's the thing. In the analog days, we recorded things really hot. We recorded them at levels where they came up and they hit close to maximum volume or 0 dB. What we now know in the digital world is that we have less noise floor. We have less background noise. We have less hiss. There's no tapes to hiss anymore. So we don't have to record as loud. But for those of us that maybe recorded in the analog days, we tend to record a bit loud, and then we overload it, because the way that the amplitude works of multiple tracks, it's not that it doubles the volume each track, but it starts increasing it, and it starts getting this build-up of noise, and then you end up overdoing it. And what can happen with that? You can get horrible things like clipping and distortion, and that is also no bueno, no fun at all. So thanks for that question, and yeah, that's the sort of stuff that we chat about in the members-only streams, the after party. So, without further ado, let's dive in here, and this won't be as long or as deep divey, perhaps, as you might think, because we've been through all this before. We've already covered a lot of this, and the difference between iPadOS 26 Development Beta 1 and iPadOS 26 Development Beta 2 is not much different. The Mac got a bit more of a tweak, iPhone got a few little changes here. There's not much here. To be honest, for a first development beta, iPadOS 26 is about the best I've seen. As far as functionality and stability goes, it's pretty darn good. However, would I recommend that you use it as your daily driver, that you use it on your one and only Mac or iPad or iPhone? Heck no. Say it with me. Friends don't let friends use beta versions, especially if you're working on a project. If you're in the middle of a big song, big video project, anything, no. Do not update. For the love of your deity of choice, do not update your device. Listen to me. Because, yeah, do as I say, not as I do. I'll be your guinea pig. I'll show you what's cool. There's nothing here that's so game-changing that you're going to need it today. Let's just do a quick review, though. There is a link to an article here. It is from 9 to 5 Mac, full of ads again. But, oh yeah, best image to AI. But yeah, it is all about productivity. So iPadOS 26 has some cool things. So let's go through the main features in case you missed the previous videos. And if you did, just search my name, Pete Johns, and iPadOS 26 in your chat, and you will find this. So let's jump over here, not in the chat, in the YouTube is what I mean. Let's jump in here and take a look at this. So what do we have? We have brand new windowing system for apps that lets you freely resize app windows. What does that mean? It means when I fire up something like Logic Pro, see how I got my little digit down here, my little kajigger? Well, now I can grab my kajigger, ding, and I can change the size of these apps, and we can tile them up. So I could put my Files app that I was playing with before up here, and adjust the side of that one, and then bring my Logic Pro over here. And you have the Mac style traffic light. So you know how they wanted us to redesign the wheel, and we had things like Stage Manager and split screen and slide over, instead of just, oh, I don't know, the windowing system on Mac that already works. Well, now we have the windowing system on Mac that already works. So if you want to minimize a window, you just hit the little yellow there. You can bring it back. Oh, it's gone away. You can bring it back again. You can tap and hold and go to all sorts of different styles. So we can go, yep, let's put that up. Let's grab this one, tap and hold. Let's put that down. So yeah, you can actively move these around. You can tile them up. You can see it's the beta version because that's not supposed to look like that. That's a bit clunky. But yeah, you can move things around here, and it's kind of cool because you can have multiple things on your screen at once. Have I used this much? Not really. I used it a couple of times to demo moving some files between two different versions of the Files app, and you can, here's the cool thing, you can now slide files directly from Files into GarageBand iOS. In fact, let's close this. Let's use the X to close it. I haven't tried, where are you, GarageBand? There you are. I haven't tried GarageBand again. And by the way, GarageBand, you can only bring down to that size. That's the only available size there. I haven't. Do we have any audio files in here? Because every time you drag a file into GarageBand, it would crash. And I haven't tried this again. Let's bring in this Auntie Penny song here and drag it and drop it. So the good news is, oh, that didn't work at all. The good news is we have drag and drop now. Did it fail? Yes, it's crashed. So it's still crashing, and it was crashing in the last development beta. But this is a good sign, because if you weren't aware, previously you had to use the GarageBand file transfer folder to bring files from your files into your GarageBand. It now works, but then you have to close out GarageBand and reopen it every time, and it's a bit of a pain in the butt. It's still there. It'll still be there, and it'll still work when you do it. But you have to wait while it reopens things for you here. The menu bar is there too. And this still hasn't had much in the way of enhancements. But look at this. Look at all this business. Yeah. Yeah, baby. So they've put up the top here all of the things. Now, are there anything here you can't do? Not really. The only thing is this help, which you can search there. And if you go to GarageBand, you can jump over to the GarageBand settings. So if we missed it. If we tap on that one, it'll send us straight over, you know, those settings we looked at the start of the show? It'll send us straight over there, which is kind of cool as well. So that's a good thing. The Files app, we talked about that briefly. I won't go into this in a heap of details, but we've got the File app enhancements. Oh, let's see. I get so confused. I want to close Use Settings. There we go. So yeah, with Files app, we've got a bunch of new things, and I've spoken about these before. You can change the way you arrange these. You've got a tab view at the top there, as well as your more standard column view there. You can add different things in here. So you can add things like the date last opened, date created, date modified. The size is really easy to get to there. You can put files and folders down here in your dock. In fact, I think I still have my downloads folder in the dock, do I? No, that's just the Files app. I think I removed it. Oh, no, there it is. GarageBand Mac folder is there. And it does that. I really hate the way that looks. Why does it go like that? Who decided that it going like that is better than it just going straight up? Does anyone like that? Let me know in the comments or in the chat here if you're watching the premiere. Let me know if you like it when things do that. I think it just looks nuts. I want everything to be either vertical or horizontal. This whole whoop angle thing is wacky. So Files app got a much needed overhaul as well. Let's X out of that one. Live activities and sports background time. This is huge. I've actually legitimately used this. So when I've been rendering out videos in particular, so here's the cool thing. If you fire up LumaFusion, which is my video editor of choice, and the same thing in iMovie, the same thing in Logic Pro, the same thing in GarageBand. But let's say I've done this is one of my podcasts for a few weeks. Look, I'm wearing the same shirt with the same background and the same hat. It's almost like I just wear the same stuff all the time. So if we wanted to render this out, we can render out this movie, and we'll just do it low res here because I just want to show you this. So ordinarily, in the old days, in the before time, and by the before time I mean the now time, I would have to sit here and watch this slowly spin. And this is a low res one. If I actually wanted to do 4K at high resolution, this is going to be really a little time consuming. But now what can I do? I can swipe up and I can go and I can just start playing around in GarageBand. Or I can load up Logic Pro and start doing some more work over there. And it's going to continue doing that. Now what's going to happen in the future is it's going to actually add one of those live notifications up the top. You know when you get an Uber or you're waiting on your menu log, it'll have the little notification at the top there, especially on your iPhones if you've got like the Lonely Island or the notch. Yeah, it'll actually put it up there. At this point in time, because LumaFusion hasn't been updated for iPadOS 26, it just sits here in the background and does its thing. But you can see there, I'm just going to cancel it, I don't need to do it. You can see there that it keeps rendering even while I'm doing other things. And this is huge. We've always had background tasks and background apps in iPadOS, but we've never had the ability to do actual multitasking where background processes are continuing while other things are going on. And it does a pretty good job of actually prioritizing it. So I've tried like putting AI instruments and stuff and doing things in Logic, and it works. It just really slows down. So the speed of the background tasks is 100% variable based on what else you're doing here on your iPad, which is cool. And the cursor. Yes, the curse of the cursor. We talked about the cursor, and in fact, I've got a video here about how to set up your cursor. It now looks, arguably not better, but it's definitely clearer, and it's definitely easier to actually click on things that you want to click on. It's the pointing is a lot better, I guess. It's a lot easier to actually select what you're selecting. So there's much more as part of that. Now, what has changed? What's different about this developer version? Yeah, not much. Not much at all. It looks a little different. Okay, it's totally crashed now. There you go. It looks a little different in that they've calmed down some of the transparency. So in the previous version, you really couldn't see through. So they've basically adjusted the opacity, the opaqueness, how see-through things are, so that you can actually see through things a little better, especially when you have things like dynamic wallpapers behind. Outside of that, nothing. I did warn you at the start that there wasn't going to be much to talk about here. Some users have advised that it's a little more stable with things like Logic Pro and GarageBand, and that they're not getting as many crashes as you saw from the start of this show. I already have had crashes on this version. So GarageBand did indeed crash just before I started the show, and now it seems to be okay, but it still has those issues, such as when you try to bring in a file, it will crash, and you will still get random just... Oh. Thank you. Hopefully you can hear that ain't quite right. And I still don't know what's playing music in the background here. What is now playing? Do you ever come across this? Where something's playing and you just have no idea what it is or where it is. So yeah, there's wackiness. I'm just going to say it, that there's wackiness. So because you do have the ability for things to be playing through two different audio sources as well, that you didn't really hear what was going on there, but I was hearing music, different music coming back through my iPad speaker while music was coming out of the Steinberg, and it was doing something weird and wacky with the sample rate, and it was definitely messing up my vibes. It was definitely crushing the audio there. Let's just see if we can go back and replicate that. So let's just reopen GarageBand and see if I can find where it's doing that and what it's doing. So here, we'll load up Imagination. Let's see if it works this time, or if I need to do a complete reboot, which I wouldn't be surprised if I did. There we go. Oh. No, it's still being wacky. What if we change the audio? What if we go audio back to iPad speaker? Not pressing? No. Yeah, no, it's had it. Oh! Oh! Okay, you can probably hear in the background that it's working now. But yeah, that's very odd. Let's just see if we go back here one more time. This is all just very experimental. And again, we'll turn on monitoring. This is why... Don't do it, folks. Don't do it. Okay, working. Cool. That's all right then. So yeah, it'll come back, but yeah, you often just have to do some kajiggering like that. So if you don't want to have to kajigger, yeah, trust me, just don't bother with it just yet. There'll be plenty of time. It'll be available around about September. That's what we're hearing. Fall, which is spring for us here in Australia, we should have access to the full version. And the public beta version is due to come out next month, which is this month, isn't it? Or is it? No, maybe it's August. Who knows? We'll watch this space. Watch GarageBand Weekly. We'll tell you. I'll let you know when it's coming out. All right, this is going to be a quick show. And in fact, if you're watching this live when it's premiering, I'd love for you to go over to Frank Terzo's Community Pulse show. There's a great creator and an even better person over there today called Doug Kidder, who's the featured guest on the show. And if you go there right now, they'll probably be just kicking in to the interview portion. So you get to meet Doug and learn about his creative process. And if you're on the replay, no harm, no foul. Go check out Frank Terzo. He does some great work over there on his Community Pulse show. That is going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed the news and the notes and the little bit of a dabble that we had with iPadOS 26. Again, please don't update. I warn you, I beg you, I plead with you. It is not worth it. It's definitely not worth updating just yet. But yeah, there's some good stuff coming around the corner. And what I'm hoping, and I'm sure what you're hoping, is that we'll see some enhancements to match with things like GarageBand and Logic Pro. Maybe those GarageBand settings will have one additional setting called auto normalization off. I will lose my ever-loving mind if that ever actually happens, because I've been knocking on Apple's door for nigh on 5 years now, asking for that one feature to be added to GarageBand iOS. That's going to do it, folks. Please be kind to yourselves this week. Be kind to others. Keep creating. Remember, studiolivetoday.com/GarageBand for all your GarageBand needs. Links down in the description. Thank you to patrons. Thank you to members. Thank you to those who donate to the channel. And a huge thank you to everyone for watching this show. Until next time, bye for now.